Anthony Joshua versus Kristian Prenga is not a foregone conclusion like many boxing fans think it is, because this fight could be a banana skin for Anthony Joshua. Now look, Kristian Prenga is unknown to a lot of the boxing fans. However, this is where the danger comes in. And during the press conference, Kristian Prenga and Anthony Joshua had some words for each other. Let's have a listen to what they said, and then we can break this down further.
I promise you, if I catch you, you never feel that my punch.
It's good. I like it.
I promise you, brother.
Good luck.
I promise you.
Good luck.
You're a great boxer, you're a great fighter, but in the ring, I don't have respect for my father. I don't have respect for nobody.
I want you to show me no respect, and this is perfect for me, so thank you. Give me no respect. Try and do what you think you can do best, because across the ring is someone who will be doing the exact same.
I'm sort of shocked that they made this level of a miscalculation. I really am. This is a lose-lose for you. And it's shocking that Eddie and his team chose to take on a heavy-handed, heavyweight puncher like Kristian Prenga with their prized possession. But don't worry, Eddie, you'll have a new prized possession. His name will be Kristian Prenga, because he's winning on July 25th.
Thank you, Keith. AJ
Made a miscalculation. I just think that these guys, they just dig a grave. The grave's already been dug, but they keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper. All the talk's cheap. We will see. We will see. This is my division.
Look, Kristian Prenga and his team, they seem very confident. Kristian Prenga is saying that Anthony Joshua, he respects Joshua, like Joshua's a great fighter, but he's coming to win. And he talks about the fact that he's a big puncher and that he's going to, land some big shots on Anthony Joshua. And we're going to see how Anthony Joshua takes those shots. And Joshua replies back saying that, this is his division and that he's back, of course, from a lot of the things that happened in his personal life. And of course, fighting Jake Paul the last time around, and that he's back for business and he's the landlord and so forth. So it was a decent, press conference. Both fighters, you'd expect them to say the things that they said, because this is boxing, right? No fighter want to look like they're not serious or they're not confident. So Kristian Prenga is going to say things and Anthony Joshua is going to say things. But the thing is that we've seen Anthony Joshua being in situations where when a fight is riding on the fight that he's about to fight, that he's come up short most of the times. In most fights that Joshua's had, he's come up short when there's a fight riding on that fight. When the pressure is on and there's a fight riding on it, Joshua has lost that fight. But I think it's worth having a look at who Kristian Prenga is. Let's have a look at his box rec, right? So this is Kristian Prenga's box rec. He's 35 years old, so he's not a spring chicken. He's a guy that is pretty old. He's from Albania. His stance is an orthodox stance, so he's not like he's a southpaw that's tricky. So he's going to give Joshua opportunities to land some big shots as well. He's 6'5", so that's not a small guy. It's not a guy that, is lacking in height. So Joshua doesn't have to, fight low. Joshua would have to fight on the same height because Joshua's 6'6". So once again, that's an advantage for Joshua. However, it's also an advantage for Kristian Prenga, because what we're going to see there is Prenga is not going to be able to miss if Joshua does not move his head, because he's at the same height. So he will be fighting really tall as well. We look at Kristian Prenga's record and he's currently 20 wins, 20 knockouts and 1 loss. So you can see there that he's a big puncher. Like this guy, can punch. And when he lands a big punch, that it could cause a damage, because as you can see there, 20 KOs out of his wins. But then you ask yourself, who has he fought, right? This is the question that you need to ask yourself. Who has Kristian Prenga fought? And what are the caliber of the opponents that he's faced? And when I look at his record, I can see that the only fighter that has some name in boxing that Kristian Prenga has beaten is here, Joey Duerko, right? And Joey Duerko is someone that has received, a lot of credit in the boxing circles, during sparring. So this guy is a guy that will give you a lot of work in sparring, and he will show fighters that if you're not on your game on a night, that you will, you will get defeated by Joey Duerko. So, and there's rumors that Joey Duerko dropped Anthony Joshua leading up to their Ruiz fight, which he lost. I'm going to come to that fight later on in this video. So, the only win on Kristian Prenga's record that, had some credit, has some, some fear about such opponent is Joey Duerko. So as you can see there, Kristian Prenga is not exactly, a world beater. He's not exactly someone that is known in boxing. But this is where the danger is, right, guys? This is where the danger is, because you don't know much about him. I'm sure that Joshua and his team would find some footage to watch about Kristian Prenga when they're studying him, when they're thinking about putting a game plan together and how to beat him. Absolutely, I'm sure that they'll be able to do that. But then this guy is not very well known to a lot of the boxing fans. So a lot of people are predicting Joshua to get in there and blow out Kristian Prenga in 1 or 2 rounds and then it's game over. But guys, I think this fight is going to be more difficult than people think it is, because once these guys are unknown and they're facing guys like Joshua and they know that, a win will be a lottery ticket for them, they put everything in that fight. And I don't think that Kristian Prenga is going to be any different in this fight. I think he's going to give Joshua some problems. Joshua should be able to win this fight with ease. But of course, what we've seen with Anthony Joshua over the years is that when there are certain fights like this fight, right, where something is riding on it, that Joshua has not come to the forefront and has not covered himself in glory. Like, as you can see here, this is the Andy Ruiz fight. And before this fight, Joshua was in talks with Deontay Wilder. So Joshua was meant to, announce himself in the US as a top heavyweight, beat Andy Ruiz, and then they can set up one of the biggest fights in boxing history, which would have been Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. But of course, what we saw there was Anthony Joshua, got beaten by Andy Ruiz in a fight where he was dominating the earlier rounds, but then made mistakes. He went to hook with a hooker. And there's an adage in boxing, you don't hook with a hooker, but you can jab with a jabber. The mistake that Joshua did was hooking with a hooker, someone that is a short fighter, has quicker hands than him, and is a natural hooker, which is Andy Ruiz. And Joshua came up second best to that hook battle, and then he lost that fight. So look, we can see that Anthony Joshua, there's an issue that when something is riding on that fight, that Joshua has found it difficult to get the victory. And the Andy Ruiz fight is not the only fight, because as you guys remember, and I think everybody remembered, Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois. Now, this was a world title fight. And once again, the Tyson Fury fight was riding on this fight. Like, Joshua was meant to beat Daniel Dubois, and then Joshua was going to face Tyson Fury. Like, if Joshua had beaten Dubois in this fight, they would have made a Tyson Fury fight, and that fight would have been massive, because Joshua would have had a good win, beating someone like a Dubois. He would have been a world champion. Tyson Fury, he has a big name anyway. So that both guys have big names, and that would be a massive fight. But then we saw Anthony Joshua lose to Daniel Dubois in a devastating fashion. That was a brutal knockdown. That was a brutal fight. And Joshua was beaten from pillar to post in that fight. And Daniel Dubois exerted himself physically, mentally, and Daniel Dubois just demolished Anthony Joshua in that fight. So guys, what we see is that Anthony Joshua, when there is a fight riding on the so-called warm-up fight, that Joshua has come up second best. And we've seen that in a few fights that I've given, examples to. So against this guy here, Kristian Prenga, I'm not expecting this fight to be easy at all. I don't think this is an easy fight. I know that, Eddie Hearn mentioned that, Joshua should be able to knock this guy out in a few rounds and basically get out of the ring and make their Tyson Fury fight. This is not going to be an easy fight, guys. This is going to be a really difficult fight, because guys like Kristian Prenga will have, look at Anthony Joshua fights, look at the mistakes that he makes, look at the advantages that Joshua has in fights, and then they would have come up with a game plan to defeat someone like Anthony Joshua. Now look, Anthony Joshua has joined Alexander Usyk's team, and for me, that is the best team in boxing, and I think it's going to be very good for Joshua to be able to learn a lot from Usyk and his team. And I think we're going to see, a difference in the Joshua that we used to know and the Joshua that is fighting Kristian Prenga. But this fight is not a foregone conclusion. I think if Joshua is not on his P's and Q's, if Joshua is not on a game, if Joshua is taking this fight lightly, he will lose this fight. Like, if Joshua is not taking this fight as serious as he should, and if he listens to the outside noise, he's going to lose this fight. And then the Tyson Fury fight will be off the table, because I don't think that anybody is going to be interested in Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury if Joshua is coming off a loss against Kristian Prenga. Because as I said, everybody is expecting Joshua to beat Kristian Prenga, with ease, with the minimal amount of effort, really, because this guy is unknown. But this is where the issue is, because these unknown guys, when they fight the bigger guys, when they fight the superstars in boxing, like Andy Ruiz, they come up with a game plan that is really difficult. And we've seen that Anthony Joshua, has lost fights that he should have won. But that is why the concentration is lacking. That is when the outside noise get into his head, and then he loses focus in those fights. So guys, get in the comment section and let me know what you think about Anthony Joshua versus Kristian Prenga. A fight that is basically a foreshadow for the Tyson Fury fight, a fight that is basically meant to give Anthony Joshua confidence boost, right? Coming from the accident, coming from the fact that he beat Jake Paul, but you couldn't read much into that because Jake Paul is not a legit boxer. So that doesn't count, right? This is Joshua's, test before the Tyson Fury fight. What do you think about this fight? Do you think that we could see Joshua versus Andy Ruiz all over again? Or do you think Anthony Joshua joining Alexander Usyk's team is going to give him the advantage to destroy Kristian Prenga in a few rounds, just as many boxing fans and a lot of people in the media are talking about? Get in the comment section and let me know what you think about it.